Ho ho buddies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing Chaos Head. We are currently in the a disease that leads to slaughter. If that's not the right wordage, it's pretty much the right effect. It's got the right message in there. We're in that route. We are currently in the school. We're with Kozapi, and we have pretty much slaughtered. I don't know how many people we've killed so far, but not just Kozapi's killed someone. We actually killed Misumi. Is that his name? Let me just check our facts. Need a fact checker here. Misumi? Masumi. Yes. Daisuke Masumi. Okay, so we have, with the help of Kozape, killed, I don't know, tens of kids in this school. And it seems like it might be coming to a climax, and we'll have the end of this route maybe in this episode, but we'll find out. So, it was just as she'd said. We had enemies everywhere. We had no choice but to kill them. That was what they all deserved. I wasn't the one in the wrong here. The pieces of shit that I'd attacked were. It was payback for what they'd done to Nanami. Nanami? Was she still alive? With all that blood, she was probably long dead. That and her severed hand. Oh yeah, that was right. One of the students showed Nanami naked, covered in blood on his phone, and that's what made Takumi snap, I think. So I don't know why that was going on. Because we know what's happened to Nanami, and it wasn't that she was kidnapped by students and tortured. There was no way she was alive. Who's sobbing? Am I sobbing? They would never get away with this. I'd make fucking sure of it. I've been on the run for so long. But that ended here. I would kill every last one of them. Every last one. When I'd seen that horrible, cruel image of Nanami, something inside me snapped. And now, there'll be no stopping me. Here he is. Sue Mamoru stood before the gate of Sumai Private Academy, gazing intently at the building. The car he had driven there with sat alongside the gate. It's a weird way to say that, with his back leaning up against it. Although he wore a suit, a rucksack adorned his back as well. Emanating from within, it was a bizarre mechanical sound. So was he making a whole delusion with those rucksacks, as we know that they do. The atmosphere within the school was one of an intense, bubbling tumult. One Suwa could feel even from where he stood. The pure hilarity of it all left Suwa unable to contain his laughter. I know for a fact that today'll be the day I finally nab Nishijo's Takumi's code sample. His utterance was not directed to anyone in particular, and was heard only by himself. Around him stood several other men. Unlike Suwa, their attire was far more uncouth than casual, though they all carried rucksacks just as he did. They were all very evidently suspicious, with their eyes remaining glued to the school, and speaking not a word to each other. All that seeped from their mouths were the same mutterings as Suwa, spoken to no one but themselves. This is why the school was made a testing ground. Then again, that's what the big boys up at Nozumi had it built for in the first place. Oh, this is new law. Sumaya Private Academy had been founded by an institution backed by both Nozomi technology and the Cosmic Church of the Divine Light. For this reason, the number of Giglomaniacs enrolled was far higher than normal. Their proximity was no mere coincidence, it was simply inevitable that they had all gathered here. And to this, they were all none the wiser. Be that as it may, Suwa could not help but let out a faint sigh. Up until this moment, he had employed countless methods of attempting to break Nishijo Takumi. I never can say his first name. It had all been an attempt to gather Nishijo's code sample, but the boy was a far weaker, far more pathetic person than he had anticipated, and because of this, the boy would never find the motivation to awaken as a Giglomaniac. Right, I see. So the whole point of this is to get him to change. Never would he have thought that one single boy would be so much trouble. However, this would end today. No more of this cat and mouse shit. I'll show you the awesome party I've kept tucked up my sleeve. There was no doubt that countless innocent people would die here, but the number of deaths hardly mattered. The Cosmic Church of the Divine Light's founder had said so, and Suwa had thus been compelled to believe so. In the end, it really did not matter. The third melt would bring Shibuya to ruin this very day. No matter how many high schoolers died, they would be treated as sacrifices lost in the earthquake, and the truth of this day would be buried beneath the rubble. None would ever know of the murders that occurred here. So let's get that party started. Suwa opened the trunk of his car and retrieved his Darth Spider helmet. He put it on slowly and deliberately. When it stood alongside his suit and rucksack, the Darth Spider helmet made Suwa appear all the more conspicuous. But this was not something that even remotely bothered him. With an air of utter composure, he advanced into the school. And upon Suwa's signal, the men with the rucksacks followed closely behind him, remaining in complete utter silence. I lent my shoulder to Kozue, and the two of us left for the courtyard. When we got there, Senna was waiting for us. She was glaring at us with a harsh scowl on her face. Her D-sword was out, reel-booted, and emitting a red beam of light. You two are fools. You've been caught in a trap. It's all an assault on your minds, the effects of which are causing everyone to act unstable. This is the work of true evil. To escape this nightmare, we have to strike down the source. The source is a porter. They're here somewhere, carrying a rucksack. They've been attacking you with delusions. Senna-chan, are you Kozupi's friend? You're her friend, right? Kozue. What do you mean, true evil? What about the effect thingies? The cocky roaches that attacked Kozupi and Takumi-chan were automatically our enemies. That's why we killed them. Kozupi didn't want to kill anyone. The voice in Kozupi's head wasn't making any sense. Her mind was a chaotic mess. You've given our enemies exactly what they wanted. But we're all being stalked now. Kozupi's just so scared. Kozupi isn't going to be Kozupi any longer. I felt the same. The click of the camera shutters, the creaking of the wheelchair, just hearing those things made me feel like my mind itself was disintegrating. Disintegrating? I just wanted to let myself go, surrender to that oh-so-enticing bloodlust. Or maybe I already had. Do you two have any idea what it is you're fighting? I didn't know who the enemy was. I didn't know anything at all, really. Was my enemy Shogun, or was it someone else? I didn't even know who was attacking who anymore. What I could say for sure, though, was that everyone and everything in this world was against me. Don't let delusions deceive you. You have to stop, or else your own delusions will be your downfall. Kozue, you can't use your D-sword any more than you already have. Negative matter is eroding your mind and body. You're not even able to walk properly, are you? If you keep this up, your very existence itself will collapse. Senna-chan, are you Kozupi's and Takumi-chan's friend? With a voice sounding like it was begging for salvation, Kozupi pleaded for an answer once more. I too waited for with bated breath to see what Senna might say. I wasn't expecting anything, but... I really wasn't, but... Oi. I'm a friend to you both. Senna answered decisively. I'll face the enemies that are attacking you two. So, you have to stop these delusions. I was saved. I had someone on my side besides Kozupi. Another friend. Kozupi slowly lowered her sword. Kozupi's so happy. Senna-chan, I love you so much. Something is about to happen, I think. Tears began to form in the corners of her eyes. Kozupi's gaze clung to Senna like a lost puppy. Without warning, Kozupi swung her D-sword. Wow. Senna instinctively deflected the blow with her own. However, the shock of the attack was enough to blow her backward and she fell to the ground. Kozupi, what are you? Kozupi. Senna made it clear that she was on our side. Why are you trying to kill her? No, I'm not Kozupi. Crying out in her inner voice, she swung the sword up past her head and held it above Senna. Oh, that's right. She's kind of being controlled by somebody by the sword, is what's been alluded to before, right? I'm not Kozupi! She swung down with the intent to kill. With only a nanosecond to spare, Senna rolled across the ground, just barely avoiding being cleaved in two. Quickly getting back to her feet, she brandished her D-sword once again. So I'm guessing she's being controlled by Sua, right? Are you trying to kill me, Kozue? Crying profusely, Kozupi shook her head back and forth, wildly in fierce denial. No, Kozupi's hands moved on their own. Help! Senna-shan! Takumi-shan! What the hell was happening to her? Seriously, what the fuck was going on? You've been possessed by negative delusions. You've lost control of your D-sword. So against Kozupi's own will, she was now an indiscriminate killing machine. Oh, that's the normal voice. Pretend I said that in a normal voice. Kozue, erase your D-sword. Kozupi can't! Kozupi can't do it! Damn it. Kill, 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 kill! A voice spoke. But it wasn't her inner voice. It was Kozupi's actual voice. Chanting kill to no end. The exact opposite of what her inner voice wanted. Help! Kozupi doesn't want this! Senna, help her already! All I could do was beg from the sidelines. There was no way I could have walked into the middle of the fray. Reveal your delusions and neutralize that. Ah! Kozupi launched an unrelenting attack. But all she was doing was barreling through with her D-sword. It was a purely brutish attack with no aim, one only a total idiot would use. Kozupi doesn't want to kill you. Senna-shan, Kozupi doesn't want to kill you! Despite her body staggering around, despite her feet drunkenly stumbling, despite her gaze not even facing Senna, Kozupi's sword headed straight towards Senna without fail, doing everything in its power to rip her in two. I'll kill you! I'll kill you! I'll fucking kill you! I'm gonna kill you! Lashing out at her with nothing but nonsensical attacks. Her assault continued. Each and every swing was extremely heavy. Her assault continued. Each and every swing was extremely heavy, yet sharp as could be. Senna was pressed for time. Her expression grew restless. Listen. Oh. The swords mutually clashed with one another. I feel like Kozupi's winning this fight, right? Senna repelled her blow, breaking Kozupi's guard. But in Kozupi's counterattack, her D-sword seemed to disregard the very laws of physics themselves. That doesn't seem good. Thick blood sprayed from her slender body. That was all a delusion. Who said that? Who's winning here? Senna cut around and made her way to Kozupi's back. The once bloodied corpse of Senna vanished. Taking advantage of Kozupi's shock, Senna managed to pin her arms behind her back. Toss aside your D-sword, Kozue. Let go! Let go! Let go! Let go! Kill Kozupi! Senna-shan, kill Kozupi! Kozupi isn't bad! Kozupi isn't bad! It's everyone else that's bad! Kozupi doesn't want to see this. Kozupi doesn't want to kill Senna-shan either, so... Kozupi's mind and body were at odds with one another. They'd split completely in two. Her small body thrashed away violently in an attempt to break free, but in her mind she could only weep. I'm begging you. Throw down your sword, Kozue. Please return to how things were. I'll never abandon you. You are the only friend I have. Tears formed in Senna's eyes. She was crying. What a wimp. No! Right then, Kozupi's arm made the strangest of movements, bending in a direction that shouldn't have been possible. Uh-oh. It broke in two. Ah! A dull crack could be heard as her joint dislocated. A muted scream came from her. Before I even knew what had happened, Senna, who had been keeping Kozupi pinned, had been impaled from behind by Kozupi's boorish D-sword. The edge gnawed through her, grinding into her flesh like a saw. In the blink of an eye, Senna's clothes were turning a deep crimson. Gritting her teeth in pure anguish, she tried to toss Kozupi aside to put space between them. But she was too late. Kozupi whipped around, then slashed her sword in a straight horizontal line. And the side of Senna's body was torn to pieces. Ah! 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 Kozupi turned to Senna, who was writhing in intense agony, and then she thrust her D-sword directly into her. Senna-chan! Run! Die! 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 Kozue. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Die! 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 I couldn't save you. You looked up to me so much, but I couldn't help you. She's long gone. Die, 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 die. Your cry for help. If only I'd noticed it sooner. Talking with you, Kozue, was the only time I ever felt at ease. Die, 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 die. For looking up to me. For what we had. Thank you. Die. Slash. And there goes Senna-chan. I couldn't look straight at it. Is Senna-chan dead? She was dead. Senna was dead. Senna was dead, just like everyone else. Even though she'd been our friend, even though she could have saved me and Kozupi. Kozupi had killed her. The sword remained pierced into our friend's corpse. Kozupi's disjointed arm hung down lifelessly. And on her face was a smile accompanied by a waterfall of tears. Senna-chan, say something. Let's all go eat Crunchy Coons together. Takumi-chan can come too, so the three of us can take a picture again. Her heart was crying out in despair. Hey, Takumi-chan. Why isn't Senna-chan saying anything? Why? Senna is dead. Kozupi killed her! Kozupi really killed her! Kozupi fell to her knees. With one hand, Kozupi softly picked up what was left of Senna's lifeless corpse. What had once been a girl of intense beauty was now smeared from head to toe in blood, with her long black hair covering her face. Why did this? Kozupi didn't mean for... This isn't what Kozupi wished for. Kozupi didn't wish for this. Senna-chan, Kozupi loved you. Kozupi really, really loved you. You were like a big sister to Kozupi. Why? Why did Kozupi kill Senna-chan? Why? May the divine light save you. Oh. Before I knew it, a man in a Darth Spider helmet had appeared. Before I knew it, a man in a Darth Spider helmet had appeared near us. holding a small handgun, pointing directly at us. You. Darth Spider. I remember what the DQN had told me before I'd killed him in a fit of rage. He'd said that Darth Spider had offered Nanami to him. It's... you.
Did you say something? Gah!
He'd shot me. My leg exploded with pain. The bullet had struck me right in the knee.
Takumi-san!
Kozupi's D-sword began to hum. And Darth Spider's helmet was shredded like it was made of paper. It wasn't Shogun's face beneath the mask. Instead, it was the face of a young man. Whoa, the man retaliated, turning Kozupi into a mess of gushing blood and broken bones. And then Kozupi's legs gave out from beneath her. Hello. Oopsie, I shouldn't be killing you quite yet. I've still got to nab your code samples. Who was this guy? Who in the hell was this bastard? I couldn't stop thinking that I'd met him somewhere before, or somehow before, but I couldn't remember where. How had he even gotten his hands on a gun to begin with? But I did know that this must have been him. The so-called source Senna had mentioned. Was he Shogun's underling? Or was he some other enemy? I didn't know the answers to any of these things, but I didn't need to. Because at the very least, I knew he was the source behind everything. I wanted to kill this bastard so badly. But my aching leg was suffering from an incredibly unusual sensation, and before long I couldn't even stay standing anymore. The next bullet landed in my shoulder. The impact of the shot sent me sprawling on the ground. The bullets dug into my flesh, and this sheer pain and heat made me scream. Next, my arm. I dropped the knife I'd been clenching tightly in my fist. My entire body was emitting distress signals. I couldn't even tell where I was being shot anymore. I was dying. This pain was too much for me to take. The man approached me. He peered at my face and removed something odd from the rucksack he was carrying. It was some sort of headgear, with more cables than I could count.
Kill.
What?
I'm gonna kill you!
Yeah, go on, Kozupi. Rising up from the ground, Kozupi swayed heavily. She was dragging her leg. Almost having to force herself, she raised her blade. What the... Is she a fucking monster?
Die!
She gonna do it? I heard the sound of the sword cutting through air. It interlaced perfectly with the sound of gunfire. Uh-oh. That sounds more like, yes, it sounds more like a sword beating a bullet than a bullet beating a sword. The D-sword utterly crushed the man's body. His final breath soon dissipated, and the man's all too familiar way of speaking would never be heard again.
Ugh. Gah.
Moaning, Kozupi coughed up a splatter of blood. Her chest was dyed a rich vermilion from the bullets of the dead man. And then, as if her strength had been sapped entirely, she collapsed face up onto the flower bed, resting directly behind her. A myriad of black particles began to envelop her D-sword, a hulking mass of sheer mayhem, inspiring awe to all those who beheld it. The true beautiful yet fearful blade gradually began to waver.
Takumi-san. Kozupi. Can't go on any longer.
Bearing the excruciating pain shooting through me, I crawled as best I could toward where Kozupi lay. Where she lay. Only a few moments ago, my entire body had been blazing with heat, but now I felt so terribly cold. It was like I had plunged straight into a lake on a cold winter's day. My whole being was shivering with a force I couldn't stop. I couldn't feel my fingers anymore. My vision had gone blurry too. But even so, willing forth all the strength I could muster, I stretched my hand toward the girl lying in a radiant array of brightly coloured flowers. My cold fingertips met Kozapi's warm, tender fingers, desperately seeking something to cling to, wishing with all my heart to find it. I draped my fingertips on top of hers and closed them. I found myself lying in the flower bed just like Kozapi. The stench of blood was masked perfectly by the rich scent of the flowers. I felt frigid, but found warmth through the soil on my back, as well as Kozapi's fingers. The sky was so very high above us, stretching as far as the eye could see. And for some reason, Hey, the sky is really, really pretty. It's like a whole bunch of... Oh, hang on, this is Kozapi.
It's like a whole bunch of clickety-clacketies are decorating it.
She was right. The sky we saw shifted hues endlessly. And just like she'd said, it was like there was an array of colourful beads overtaking the sky. From my pocket, I retrieved the cell phone strap that Kozapi had given me some time ago. I'd only just remembered that I'd even had it. I took the cell phone strap in my palm, then clasped her hand once more, embracing the strap in the middle. I wasn't strong enough to maintain a solid grip anymore, but it didn't matter.
If only Kozapi could float up high in the sky too. Kozapi wishes she could be a clickety-clackety.
You can. Throw away your piece of shit body. Throw away this piece of shit world. You can be a star if you truly wish to be. If you do that, then you'll never have to worry about pain or sorrow ever again. If you do that, then you'll live in peace and tranquility forever.
Takumi-san, won't you come with Kozapi?
Of course I will. I'll always be with you. You were the only person who didn't betray me. You were the only person trying as hard as you could for my sake, even until the very end. I don't know if that is true, Takumi. I saw Senna was doing something, so I'll never betray you. I'll stay with you even until the very end.
Thank you. Is it okay if Kozapi falls in love with Takumi-san?
I don't mind. My consciousness was fading, but I answered all the same. It's a very Harrison Ford, I know kind of response, isn't it? I realised that the hand I'd been clasping was slowly beginning to lose its warmth. I realised that the strength was slowly fading from the fingers clasping my hand. But I didn't care. I wasn't going to let go of her hand until the very end. I tried my damnedest to hold back the tears I knew would come. The sky I saw turned a pure white. All the clickety-clacketies were disappearing. I figured something had happened, but I didn't really care anymore. Belief washed over me. Belief that Kozapi wouldn't have to see the clickety-clacketies die out. I gently closed my eyes. In that very moment, time came to a stop. The entire world came to a stop. And so, within that sky, the colours as rich as those beads, Kozapi and I shone as stars, floating in perpetuity. The end. Wow, it really is the end. Wow, okay. Interesting. It certainly was one of the more action-packed routes. What's the next route we've got coming up? We have the next one we're going to be doing. I think it might be Senna's. We haven't done Senna's yet, have we? I've been searching for so long for a place where I can feel okay again. Let's have a look. So we did Crying Sky, we've done Daydream, for better or worse. Moon and Sun we did. A Bloody Contract for Your Sins we did. And that's with Fez, that's with the Yase. Disease that Leads to Slaughter is what we've just done. Deus Ex Machina. Deus Ex Machina. Is that how you say it? Deus Ex Machina. And that's going to be around Senna. And then we've got that one. And then we've got 1, 2... With third from the end, next time on Borderline Games. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Chaos Head. And I will see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye! Bye-bye-bye-bye-bye-bye! Bye!